Welcome to Amanda Hill. Amanda, you have the privilege of being the third guest to ever be on our show. Nope. Is that right? No, fourth.
Taylor, JJ,
okay.
Steven.
So you're the fifth guest on our show.
Oh my gosh, and it sounds like I am amongst amazing people. Gosh.
Your audio sounds great, so I'm happy.
Who am I forgetting?
Thank you very much.
Do not forget anybody. There's Steven and Sean, JJ, Jeff.
Oh, I forgot about Sean.
Yeah, Sean and Jeff were on.
Yeah, okay.
Taylor, JJ, and Steven.
All my heroes, and here am I.
Oh man, don't tell Steven he's a hero. Now he's gonna.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a way to get the clip in the show. Okay, I'll send that to him right there, so he'll play that on double tap. That'll get us more listeners because he's a hero.
We'll get more listeners if you edit that episode. How's that coming along?
Oh yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I have a first episode out of that done that I could release, which depending on how this goes, will either go out. I'll probably put that out this weekend, and then Amanda's episode will drop the week after that, and then we'll come back with another Steven episode.
Yeah, so thank you, Amanda, for jumping in, because you're doing me a favor, because I am gone. So when this releases, I will not be around.
He will be on a
Either will I.
cruise ship.
Well, actually, I think I may have just come back. I get back on the 4th of November. We're both going on cruises at similar times.
Similar times, but different places.
Yeah, so where are you going, Amanda?
I'm going down the east coast of Australia from Sydney to all the way to Tasmania via Melbourne, Adelaide, and Kangaroo Island, where I've never been, which is the main reason for going on the cruise. That and my mum's 93rd birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Mom.
Thanks.
Tell her we said hang around.
So who's this Amanda? I don't know if we've introduced her before.
We have not introduced her. We were going there next, but we have to get the cruise stuff out of the way. Mike, where are you going on your cruise? Because I forget.
When do I go?
Where are you going?
Oh, Mexico. Ensenada and Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah, have fun, man. Have fun.
What is that in real temperature?
In real temperature? I don't know. Hold on. Let me see.
I think it's like 20
What's
something.
80 degrees in Celsius?
80 degrees Fahrenheit is 26.67 degrees Celsius.
Oh, very pleasant.
Why does your Siri sound like she has an attitude about it?
Because I had her speak faster.
Okay.
It's the speech rate that makes her sound like she has an attitude.
She sounds like she's a little upset about that question.
She sounds a bit cross.
So let's introduce one of the best people I know in the world to our audience. Amanda, so tell us about yourself, first and foremost, just to give people an idea of who you are.
So my name is Amanda Hill. I'm from Canberra, Australia. I've been totally blind since birth, had a 17-year legal career, and am now building my business as a speaker, trainer, and coach. And I've written 2 books.
Awesome. You can tell she's practiced that elevator pitch because she knocked that out in like
I have
27 seconds.
Yep. I like it.
So what are the books you've written? Tell us about the books, and where can people go get those books first and foremost? And we'll repeat this again at the end, but I just want to get those out there because, she's written a book. Let me go look her up.
The first book is not in print anymore, but the second book is called Seeing by Vision, Not by Sight, and it is available in all the usual places. Amazon, Apple Books, Kindle, and interestingly, I've just gone into negotiations with someone who is going to record it as an audiobook. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
I started doing it myself a couple of times, and then I thought, yes, I like my 2020 voice, and I started recording, and then I thought, oh, good gracious, I can't read Braille fast enough. This isn't up to the standard that I would like to listen to as an audiobook. And then I, got a new Braille display. I did a little bit of voiceover training, and now I'm sort of revisiting recording it, and I don't like my 2025 post 2 doses of COVID and a bit of hay fever voice. And then this person reached out to me and went, we're actually based in Australia. We can record your book for you for a not unreasonable sum. And it's like, oh, okay, let's talk. So I think I'd rather have it out there as an audiobook rather than not out there because I don't want to do the recording and the editing. Even though it's always nicer to have a book recorded by an author.
That comes down to a conversation that Demasi and I have had a couple of times about wanting to make things happen, trying to do it ourselves, and then just saying, never mind, I'm going to pay someone to do this for me so it gets done. Because we often get in our own way.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yes. And with me, the way I read, I would pretty much have to memorize a paragraph, speak it, and then pause and then memorize another. And the amount of editing in that would be horrific for a 250-page book.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a lot. Well, good. We'll have to share on social media once it's out as an audiobook. Because, I mean, frankly,
absolutely,
I'm super excited that you have a couple of books out and one that you can buy. I'm not going to go read it, though, because I would rather listen to it. Just because that's how my mind works. And me and VoiceOver don't like the Kindle app.
No. But actually that leads to an interesting question. Abridged or unabridged?
Definitely unabridged.
When I see abridged, I tend to steer away from reading that because I feel like I'm going to miss important information from the book.
I do too. And the only... Oops, short voiceover, you were meant to be on silent. Sorry. I obviously haven't followed my own pre-recording thing, which was to turn speech off.
That's okay. We're just giving Demasi editing practice.
Yeah.
When I see abridged, I generally don't read it either. But the only reason I ask is because my book coach, who is a very good book coach, said that I should start the book with like pages and pages of quotes from people, which is all very nice. But if I'm reading an audiobook, I just want to get into the book. I don't want to read all the pages of nice things that people have said about the book in the beginning. So I would probably take that out, and the contents page and the cover page, and there's also photos in the middle, so they wouldn't be included either. So I don't know whether that's enough. I did a Google search and it said that as long as all the main content is included, that you can take all that extra stuff out. And then it still is an unabridged book. But just in case it drops into abridged, that's my only concern.
No, I would say unabridged. And the reason is because oftentimes, and I have read books, or I remember reading books in Braille or something, and then, listening to an audiobook. And there's oftentimes stuff that's taken out of the print, quote unquote, print edition, whether it's an ebook or whatever, that's not included in the audiobook. There are probably rearrangements made in the audiobook for the purpose of it being an audiobook. That doesn't necessarily make it abridged. Like I said, you're taking out, like photos, like they never discuss photos unless there's like a map that you need to hear about in a particular type of book, but it's written, for that purpose. But we want all the content of the book, because I'm the same way. If something is abridged, like I made the mistake of purchasing an abridged audiobook at some point, and I was a little upset about it after the fact, because it didn't have everything that was meant to be in the full book. And I was like, well, why would you do an abridged version of a book anyway?
True.
Definitely a conversation also for the people recording, because they have much more experience in kind of like what are the typical things that an author would pull out of their ebook that would, not go into the audiobook, right? You're not going to bother trying to describe the photos, or maybe drop the quotes at the end if you want them there. Just
That's
move
true.
that around.
I could do that.
If people want to hear like the things that people have said about this book. Also, there are chapters in audiobooks. So, I'm reading a Stephen King book now. Like I skipped past like the first 2 or 3, markers in the book, because it's his discussion of the story, his discussion of this, his talking about that, and then you get to the actual story. So, people are kind of used to it. I think the type of book you're doing is, it's definitely, you want all of the information, all of the details that you have taken the time to put down in that book regarding, seeing with vision, not by sight, which is, I forgot that was the name of your book, but I'm always saying that to people. Like, I'm very careful with words. most of the time, I'm very careful with words. So I tend to tell people like I don't have any eyesight, not that I don't have any vision, right? Because to me, that's two different things. Like my eyesight
Exactly.
isn't here, but I definitely have vision. My vision is better than a lot of people's, in my humble opinion.
I think so too. After knowing you for all these years. Yeah.
Oh man, I need a soundboard so I can play some applause. Like, yeah, I am definitely
I
a
would
hero.
use my soundboard with applause, but you're going to get echo because I don't know what's wrong with that.
Oh dear.
So let's go back and talk about because you mentioned a 17-year legal career. What can you tell us about that career? And frankly, because you were born blind at birth, and I think this is valuable for some of our listeners, even those that aren't blind, to understand how a totally blind person does legal stuff, right? And you're one of the few people I personally know that has had a time in that career. So what was that like? What did you do? What were your responsibilities? And also, what made you leave when you left?
So, yeah, listening to your question was just making me think of, I actually spoke at a careers fair a couple of days ago, and it made me realize just how old I am and how much things have changed. I'm 55, so I went through uni in the late 80s, and things have changed so much. So when I was going through university, I did a combined commerce law degree because they wouldn't let me study straight law, and it's kind of a long story, actually. I wanted to be a physiotherapist, and so the only place I could train as a blind person in 1988, before the Australian Disability Discrimination Act came out in 1992, the only place I could train was in England. So I went to England, did the first 18 weeks of the course, and they went, oh, yes, you can't continue. You've got spatial awareness problems, which basically means in practical terms I would never carry a tray or a bowl of soup, because the whole lot would end on the floor, and sometimes I get disorientated in very large open spaces where I can't hear the walls and things. So they sent me back and said, do something more academic. And so I came back and started commerce because I'd enrolled in that and deferred because it had something to do with numbers, and I didn't really know what it was, and I wasn't going to do it anyway. But on the wise advice of my father, I deferred for a year while I went to England. And so I picked that up in 1989. And in my second year, I did an introductory business law unit, which I loved. And I went to the dean and said, well, I've got a straight credit average. Can I get into law? And he went, well, you can't transfer. We'll make it a combined degree. So that was fine. I did it over 7 years instead of 5. So my workload was slightly reduced. And how I did that was all the commerce stuff was put into Braille, and all the law stuff was read onto cassette tape. And some listeners won't even probably know what those are now.
Mike doesn't even know what that is.
Seriously, gosh.
No, don't tell lies, Demoss. I listen to 4-track tapes.
Yeah, I didn't think you were that young. And so I used to buy these boxes of 100, and we used to photocopy the textbooks and give them to volunteers who would read all the stuff onto cassette tape. So I'd sit there and listen to it for hours and hours on like double speed, reading all the cases and all that kind of stuff. So getting to my job, I was a government lawyer, and which to my mind is they'll tell you when you come out of uni, oh, if you can't get into the private sector, you're not a decent lawyer and you're really not worth your salt, and government lawyers are people who can't make it in the private sector, which is actually not true. Government law is so interesting. I did everything working in 4 different government departments. I did everything from looking over IT leases to doing even a little bit of court work to get overseas evidence for proceeds of crime cases. So I did a lot of stuff and everything in between, workers' compensation, discrimination law, all sorts of things. I had such an interesting career. And at the very beginning, everything was in loose leaf services. So you get these massive, big, thick. They weren't very big. They were only the size of like a normal, is it 5x8 in your language book? Sorry, I shouldn't tease you. Paperback book, but it was, or a bit bigger, but it was like inches thick, and it was full of all these loose pages, which when things were updated, you would just take one section out, put the new section in. And so I used to have to pull these things apart because they wouldn't rest flat on a scanner, and take these things apart and very, very carefully sit the pages in wobbly piles while I scanned them. And I did drop one once. And I was about to pick it up, and my colleague said, "Go home, just go home. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I'll fix it." So that was that was that. So I was very careful after that. So everything was like scanned, and we had old paper faxes which used to come through on thermal paper, and which wouldn't scan properly because it had little lines through it. So then I had to ask people to post me stuff. It was interesting, and everything took longer. So I just had to work longer hours to get my work done. And then by the end of my career, everything was online. We didn't actually even have email when I first started working. I think there was like one computer in the department which had email access, and stuff would have to be brought in and saved on a floppy disk and then given to me to put on my computer once security had cleared it. I used Outspoken on a Mac to start off with, which used to crash whenever I used to do a Word spell check in Word. So I'd have to type everything up and then get someone else to spell check it for me. Then I moved on to JAWS on a Mac, and man, oh man, that thing was temperamental in the early mid-90s. It came on multiple hard CDs, and it used to take about 30 minutes to install. Well, it played you endless music, and then if you did anything to your computer at all, it would crash, and you'd have to get it reinstalled. Like in anything, if they updated their sound card, or they decided one day that everyone had to have two monitors because one just wasn't enough. You had to have two. And so I said, no, I don't want two. Do not touch my computer under any circumstances. They came through. I turned up on Monday and I had two monitors, and JAWS didn't work for a week. And so I went, okay, fine. This is your fault. I'm just going to sit here and read books, not workbooks. My own leisure books until you get this fixed, because I can't work and it's your problem. So it got to, by the end of my career, there was one person who was allowed to touch my computer, and one person only, because they wouldn't break anything and they knew how JAWS worked.
Interesting. So did you say JAWS on the Mac?
No, JAWS on a PC.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, no, I've tried JAWS on a Mac a long time ago, and it was all too hard.
So you,
back in the good old days of Fusion.
You're an early JAWS. So your JAWS usage goes back to mine. So you probably still were were we talking Windows 3.1, like the DOS days of JAWS, or did you come in on like Windows 95?
Windows 95.
Okay.
So this was in 1997.
Ah, okay, yeah.
No, mid-1996. So after writing 147 job applications.
Wow. And she still remembers how many it was. My first version of JAWS was on Windows 98 SE. No, I used 95 for a very brief period of time.
So what was some of the other tech you used back then? Like, did you have access to like the Kurzweil reader or any of that sort of stuff at the time, since you were dealing with so much paper and so much scanning having to go on?
Well, when I was studying, it was an absolute breakthrough when can't remember which Kurzweil scanner it was, but it was, oh gracious, how big was it? It used to sit on a tabletop. It wasn't huge, and it had a numeric keypad which used to come off the front of it, and you would scan stuff on the flatbed part of it. It came in two parts, the flatbed scanner and the box. And so you'd scan stuff on the box, and then it would, on the flatbed bit, and then it would go into the box, and you could only record it as audio. So I'd have to plug an audio line in and plug it into a cassette recorder and record it. And that was at the National Library in Canberra. And you had to book in to use this thing. And then a couple of years later, was it Pulse Data back then, I think, or maybe it was Humanware, released the Reading Edge scanner. And this was a 9-kilo scanner, I remember, because you could get a special case for it. And I used to occasionally take this to uni to use. And it was heavy. 9 kilos. That'd be, what, 20
We'll call it 20
something
pounds. Yeah, we'll call it 20 pounds.
And so that was that. And then, so I bought that myself and I used that at work. And then they bought a rainbow scanner from Quantum. I don't know I don't know who sells that. And it was a standalone. It was much lighter. It was much more accurate. But gosh, you'd scan a page and you'd wait for like 30 seconds to a minute before it would actually start reading at the beginning with the reading edge. And then with the rainbow, you'd scan it and it would start reading by the time it had the mechanism had worked its way back up the top of the page. So that was down to about 30 seconds. And gosh, now it's so good. You can just hold up your piece of paper and go, hey, Meta, what's this? Or even with the phone. I've used a phone on like a cardboard reading stand, which you put the phone on and take a picture. And it'd say, I can't see the edges. So, yeah, how things have progressed.
Absolutely.
And I started off with wasn't a laptop, it wasn't a desktop, it was called a portable. And this thing probably weighed 4 or 5 kilos and it would open up like a laptop, but it was probably, gosh, I've got my hands, 4 times the thickness of my MacBook Air, which is now sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
And probably 4 times the weight.
And it had like a little tiny screen. Did you have one of those? The one that had the little...
No, it had a full-size
screen? Okay.
Full-size screen, like a MacBook Air, but like 4 times
big.
the thickness.
Yeah.
And 4 times the weight. The screen itself was the thickness of the MacBook Air.
I remember those. I saw one like that had a handle on it for you to carry it.
Yes, it did. Yes, I think it did. And I was running Keysoft. So I did most of my university and half my work life with Keysoft.
Is that what you used to take notes or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got a Braille Note Empower. Oh, actually, my first Braille Note, this is fun. My first Braille Note was the little one with the receipt printer on it. It had this tiny little printer and it would print it out on paper like a receipt, little dot matrix printer. Zzz, zzz, zzz. And you couldn't, of course, hand in assignments because you'd have this thing that was like, feet and feet and feet in length. So then I had to get a dot matrix printer to plug in to print off my stuff.
To plug into the serial ports so you don't bend and don't bend the pens or nothing will print. Yep.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I used to connect that thing to the university's network and I did all my computing stuff on there. I'd unplug the monitor and plug in the Braille Note and it worked. It was amazingly simple.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
See, that's hacking, kids. That's what we had to do back in the days. You just try stuff like, oh, look, this works. Cool. Not going to tell anybody because they'll tell me I can't do it. And now
reminiscing on technology is fun.
It is because we've used so much stuff over the years. Like I remember the Mountbatten Brailer.
Oh, yeah.
And like this thing was heavy. It had a handle to use to carry it. And it was just a Perkins. I mean, at its base, it was just Perkins style layout. You could connect a keyboard to it over one of those, the PS2 port, I think is what it's called, a little circular connection port. For keyboards, but you would just type on it and it could store stuff in memory for a while. And then you could just, have it emboss out in Braille, or you could hook it up to a serial printer and print it out and print. But it was so heavy. But at the time, it was the coolest thing in the world. Like you couldn't do anything else with it, but it was the coolest thing in the world to me when I had it. Was
that an Australian invention or did I dream that?
It could be because it was named.
I'm thinking it was an Australian invention.
So it could have been.
Yeah.
I would think it came.
I bet if you ask ChatGPT, it'll tell you yes. And if Demasi asks ChatGPT, it'll tell him no.
What about, I used the Eureka for a while, the Eureka A4. I tried it for about a month and I don't like Braille input. I never have. I've tried it. I mean, I've used a Braille Sense 6 for a long time, but I really don't like Braille input. I'm so happy with my Mantis.
Royal College for the Blind, the Royal National College for the Blind in Hereford is where it was founded.
Oh, I see.
According to ChatGPT,
so.
just to, give that little grain of salt.
Sense.
But it makes sense, though, because I think it was named for Mountbatten, who was an English general back in World War II times, also a lord of something.
I think he was King Charles' uncle or something.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds about
related to him, yeah. So what technology do I use now? I have a M3 MacBook Air sitting in front of me, which I use if I have to do any like big, lots of typing thing. I've got an M1 iMac, which is solely for recording and video production. I'm just recording a video course based on my book. And I've got a Vocaster 2 mixer. Thank you to you, Michael. I love that. I love this thing. I think I'm using a Shure SM, I can't remember whether it's 25 or 35 headset microphone. And I've solved my headphone problems, Damasi, after talking to you. I am using my QC 400, I think. I'm very bad at remembering the numbers. The Quiet Comfort headphones.
Okay.
Because they have a cord which I can plug into the mixer. And it's a long cord. And they fit nicely over the headset, so it's actually not too bad. I don't know how they look. I have to make a video and ask someone, do these look cool? So, yeah. So that's and I've got my Mantis, which I use for note taking and for using like when I'm the braille display when I'm making my videos and giving speeches.
So you've wrote 2 books.
Yeah.
How, and this might sound like a strange question, but how have you written the books? Like, what tools did you use to write them? Was it all
Not strange
Microsoft
at all.
Word or
Ulysses?
Okay.
Both books. Thank you, Damasi, for putting me onto Ulysses. Yes, I wrote both my books in Ulysses, and I've actually now used to use Pages. I'm the secretary for an Australian club, View Club, raises money to support underprivileged children. And so I'm the secretary for our local branch, and I used to use Pages on the Mac to take the minutes, and it just seems to be getting harder and harder to use, and so I decided that I would use Ulysses, and so I worked out how to change the style sheets and paid someone on Fiverr to do it. He knew nothing about Ulysses. It turns out he knew about Markdown, but he didn't know anything about Ulysses, so I wasted $25 or whatever it was paying him to do what I knew how to do already. And so I worked out how to use the style sheet. So now I've got minutes and agenda templates that I can use in Ulysses to do the minutes, which is great. And then I just export it to Pages, read through it, go, yep, looks good, send it out.
Nice. Yeah, for everybody listening, Ulysses is a Markdown-based application for the Mac and iPad and iOS. It's unique in the fact that as you're writing your Markdown, typically, and this is the reason I kind of actually went away from it, is that as you're, let's say, for example, making a link or making a heading, it incorporates that kind of in the rendered Markdown once you've written it, which means as you're scanning back through it, you can kind of see how your links are going to look in line and all of that. You don't have all of the text of your link with the HTTPS blah, blah, blah visible, which frankly annoyed me. So that's why I stopped using it. But I'm glad you have found it useful. And I know a lot of people that love it. It just didn't fit my particular writing style. Also, I don't write that much.
I don't know whether I've got a setting wrong or whether they've changed that, because it doesn't seem to. VoiceOver's certainly not telling me that it's rendering it as. Actually, no, you're right. It does.
Yeah, like it'll tell you that it's a link, but it'll just read the text that you have as the link, not actually read out like what the raw Markdown would look like, which would be,
Oh, it still does.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it still does. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe they changed some things after I complained and they left. Because I honestly hadn't used it since probably 2020-ish or something, 2019, 2020. It's been years since I've used Ulysses.
I was super impressed, actually. I was having trouble accessing one of the settings in the style sheets, how to get into the editing the style sheets, and I just couldn't do it. Couldn't work out. I tried everything I even tried using the mouse pad and everything. I just couldn't do it. I reached out to them and they went, oh, just use this command with voiceover, which I mustn't have. And I was interacting with it. That's right. It wouldn't let me do it. But if I just used voiceover and the down arrow without interacting, I think it would let me do it. And it's like, oh man, it works. I'm so impressed that you guys actually know how to do this with voiceover. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, that stands out when you're working with a company and all of a sudden they have an understanding of what it is a voiceover user is trying to do. I'm thinking of Rogue Amoeba, where they have documentation about setting up their software while using voiceover.
Yeah, which is always impressive. And Ulysses is made by, I had the name a few seconds ago, and now I can't remember it. They're the same company behind Setapp.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of the company now, but they're great. Ulysses is a good app for what you're using it for. It's a good app. I've heard quite a few people that have used it. That's actually what started me using it, because I was writing documentation at the time when I first started using it. And the ability to make a folder and have several sheets and be able to kind of reorder that stuff as you were moving it around and kind of create a table of contents, do all those sorts of things just right inside the app. And you're writing in Markdown, which is my preference. So it's a very nice app.
You can also store stuff on in other places outside Ulysses and still access it with Ulysses.
Oh.
Which is very cool now, yes. And you can still use your keyboard commands, Command B, Command I to do the
bold
stuff if you want to.
Yeah.
But you can just put the stars or the whatever. And it's kinder than other Markdown, because if you put the stars, say bold, at the beginning, if you put your Markdown text at the beginning and you forget to put it at the end, if you press the Enter key twice, it just automatically puts it at the end. But I loved it for writing HTML. Thank you, Michael, who taught me everything about WordPress. See, this is why I'm nervous, because you guys taught me basically everything I know about everything that's important to me now. So, apart from Garth Humphreys, who taught me about Reaper.
Oh, well, Garth taught all of us about Reaper. So.
Yes.
Yes.
That's who we need to strive to get on the show there, Demasi.
Yeah, we should get Garth on the show. I told Michael.
Get Garth on.
I have to, my kids want to go to Australia. I want to come to Australia because I like to visit Amanda, but I was like, I got to go clear across the continent to visit Garth, because I can't go to Australia and not also go to Perth. Perth is on the other side of the continent from where you are, right? Kind of like that.
Is he in Perth now? I thought he was in Melbourne.
Oh, he may be in Melbourne. You know what? I don't know. I know he was in Perth at some point. Maybe he was just visiting. I don't know. I'll ask.
I think he's in Melbourne. I could be wrong. But yes, Perth is on the other side of the continent. Yeah, Melbourne it's like a 5-hour flight. It's like from LA to
New York,
Florida.
Yeah, something
away.
like that.
Hey, Garth, feedback at technicallyworking.show. Where are you living now?
Look, I'm the worst because I actually thought Amanda was in Melbourne.
No.
But no,
Canberra.
She's in Canberra.
The capital.
Canberra. Canterbury.
I'm about 40 minutes flight from Sydney, or 3 hours drive.
Now, it is unfortunately like a 24-hour flight to get from here to Sydney, which is an entirely different thing. MacPaw is the company behind Ulysses.
That's the
Let's
one.
just like follow up.
They have a very nice, what's the thing called? Where you can log in and pretend you're in another country.
Oh, VPN?
Yes, they have a very nice VPN.
Huh.
On Setapp. Yeah.
Interesting. I've never used it. They also make
Clean my Mac.
what's that? Yes. How do you know what software I was thinking of?
Because that's the other thing that they make.
Yeah.
And Downy is really good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I
For
love
downloading videos. And they make I think, Demasi, you put me onto Setapp. I love it. It's great. I mean, it costs a bomb if you want to have it on multiple devices, but it's good.
Yeah, that's about the only thing. It's like it can get a little expensive if you want it on multiple devices, but it is definitely worth it. And if you look at the software that you get access to, so like Downy, Permute is a good piece of software from the same developer that makes Downy for converting files to different formats. So let's say you got a WAV and you just need to convert it to an MP3, like, there's no reason to open Reaper, just drop it on there. There's a lot of good stuff in Setup. Marked, which is a good markdown renderer, so it'll show you what your markdown is going to look like, rendered out as text. So, or your HTML, so you can see what your links and stuff are going to look like. And it also gives you some good export options. A lot of good stuff in Setup. People should check it out. We will have the bot post a link to Setup, is what we will do. So if you're following TW at technically.social or Mastodon, you can, you'll get that link sometime, after this episode goes live.
I'm admittedly slightly distracted. I just discovered something that I didn't even think. I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I am trying to solve this audio issue here in the background. No, I'm not breaking or unplugging anything, Demasi, but I started taking screenshots of Loopback and sending it to ChatGPT, and it's telling me what's wrong.
Oh, I'm using Loopback too.
Everyone has to use Loopback. Well, if you're using the Vocaster, you have to use Loopback, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but interestingly, I've had an audio issue, so I've now got a audio line going from the headphone jack on the Mac into the back of the mixer, which has solved the issue. And so now if I want to use VoiceOver on the iMac, I just unplug the cord instead of going, oh my God, VoiceOver isn't working. Oh, this is dreadful. And then realize, oh, it's plugged into the mixer and the mixer isn't turned on. So I can just unplug the cord from the back of the mixer and use the Mac. It's good.
Very cool. So you're doing video stuff as well. Mike, she asked me in a text message, did she need to have her camera set up? And I says, no, we're not that grown up.
We're not double tap.
So
can I just brag and say I have 2 softbox lights? I feel very grown up. I had this guy come in and record some videos for me, and he was saying I had a blue, massive, the world's biggest backdrop. This thing cost me like $500 off Etsy. It was huge, and only because I needed it to go across the whole length of the room, because behind me I used to have like a dog's bed and a all sorts of mess and it was bad. So I needed something to hide it, and someone had moved the room lights for me so that they would shine down on me, and it was okay. It wasn't too bad. And so this guy walks in and went, "You set this up during COVID, didn't you?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Well, people don't do it like this anymore. You need to get rid of the backdrop. You get some decent lights." And I went, "Okay, you tell me what to order and I'll order it." So I've got 2 softbox lights, which are basically lights on poles which have a soft fabric box surrounding them. So that's why they're called softbox lights. And the light shines through the fabric and gives you a softer diffused light. So I've got one in front of me and to the slightly left, and I've got one behind me on the right. And I've got rid of the backdrop, which is great. And behind me, I have a bookcase, which has got all sorts of stuff, which this guy just went all over my house and just picked up things. So I've got all my little cruise ship models. I've got my space shuttle that I got from NASA when I went there. That was so much fun. And so I've got the toy shuttle set up there. I've got like a couple of plants, and I've got all sorts of things on the bookcase which just tell a story about my personality. And you can see behind me on the wall, you can see my commerce degree and my law degree. And on my desk next to me, I have a little framed thing which says, "Jesus is my CEO." And my study is perfectly tidy, and Sadie's out of camera shot, lying on the floor by the curtains, which are closed. So that's kind of a little bit of audio description of what it would look like if you could see me on camera.
That is an excellent setup. And this is why I said we're not that grown up yet. Because behind me
iMac
is a wall.
That's all right. A wall is fine. And so the reason I've got an iMac is that when it's sitting on my desk, it's just the right height when I'm sitting down. And I have a piece of sticky tape on my desk. So when that's in line with the center of my body, I know I'm in center of shot.
Oh, that's handy.
Yes. Very simple, but it works.
Yeah.
So, what camera are you using?
I'm using my FaceTime camera.
Really?
And I'm using Ecamm Live. And so everything goes through Ecamm Live. And so I can change whether it's a square, whether it's a tall, whether it's a wide shot. And Ecamm just adjusts that. That is actually pretty accessible too, Ecamm Live. Expensive, but it is reasonably accessible. And their tutorials, some of the creators are very like, oh, just click here and drag this there. But others of them are quite good at describing verbally what they do.
Yeah. I would imagine they're still this way because Ecamm goes all the way back to the days of Skype call recorder. That's when I first encountered Ecamm software. They did the Skype call recorder, which everybody used for their podcast back then, if you were using Skype.
Gosh, I remember those bad old days.
Yeah, man. Things have gotten so much better. You know, it's kind of like, you know.
Still makes me laugh when I watch The Big Bang Theory and you hear the do 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 do, and it's like, oh, that's a Skype call.
Yep. Something kids will never know what it sounds like.
But their accessibility has always been fairly decent. Their customer support back then, at least, was really good. So I imagine they're still there.
It still
to
is.
a certain extent. But yeah, it's not cheap. Like you don't pay for it unless you need it to do a thing. For sure, it's not just a toy software. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do a fun little video every 4 months. Like, nah, you don't get Ecamm. That's when you go reach for something like OBS, I would imagine, just because you're not making any money at it, whereas you're doing this more on a professional level. I am surprised by the FaceTime camera, though. I thought you would have bought some sort of webcam-ish thing.
I did buy one, but then when I got the iMac, the FaceTime camera was at the right height, and it was, giving a good, a good shot. And because I can change the aspect of it with the Ecamm software, that was great because I didn't want a super wide shot at the time because I had all my mess and whatnot. So yeah, the FaceTime cameras, I used Crisp for a while, and I think because it had some sound thing and it just causes problems. So yeah, the FaceTime camera, it works, and it's one less thing to break and one less thing to
remember
not
to plug
have to
in.
worry about,
Yeah.
because the more bits and pieces you have, the more likely something is to fail. I had a good laugh when you were talking about on one of your episodes not turning the phantom power on. I spent 30 minutes on a podcast with someone overseas, and they're typing to me going, I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. And I checked everything. And then I realized 35 minutes in that the phantom power wasn't on. So now I have a pre-record list, which I go through every time I make a video. And the first thing is turn phantom power on.
Yep.
It is
So that headset takes phantom power?
Yeah.
Or you're no.
Yeah.
So your headset that's XLR?
Yes.
Okay. Huh. I don't need more tech.
It is amazing that we're friends because you're so organized. Like that is. I should have a checklist, and there's a mental checklist. Like when I sat down today, like I came out here a little early because I'm like, oh, I got to send Amanda this link, which is something different. So let me make sure I get out here a little earlier than normal. Have to set up stuff, but it's all mental for me, right? So if I forget a step somewhere in the process, then like I can end up hosed. Because I forgot to start this backup recording, for example, which I did not do today, but it has happened. We've gotten to
The only reason, sorry?
I was going to say, we've gotten to the end of episodes where like, it's like, oh man, I didn't start, Reaper or Audio Hijack at all.
Or, oh no, I didn't download the recording.
Oh, I never do that, man. Like, how many versions of it do you need? I mean, you just download it when you're done.
True.
That's why I have my checklist, because I made 5 videos, and in Ecamm I had not set the microphone to host 1. So I had 5 beautiful, beautiful videos with no sound. So it's like, no, I'm doing a checklist. And these were they took some effort, because I've got my book, but I don't want to just do like an audio version of my book. So I had to kind of script out these videos and sort of think, okay, well, this is an audio book. You would read chapters 1, 2, 3, 4 and skip and jump in and out of chapters 5 to 10. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 are all about my methodology, and chapters 5 to 10 are the tools you need. Or chapters 1 to 5 are my methodology. Chapters 6 to 10 are the tools you need to put that into practice. And so I did a lot of thinking about what order do I do the videos in. It would make more sense to not do them in the same order as the book. And what am I going to say in these videos that I didn't say in the book, or what am I going to not say that I put in the book? So there was a lot of effort involved in scripting and making these videos and have to do them again. It's like, right, I'm going to have a checklist. And I also have a stop recording checklist as well.
Oh, good deal.
And it also includes things like turn the AC off, shut the curtains, turn the lights on, obviously pre-recording. So it's got, make sure the chair's in the right place. So
Where is that checklist?
it's on my computer. Do you want me to email it to you?
Well, no, like, is it Ulysses? Is it Todoist? Is it a Word document?
I tell a lie. It's sitting on my Mantis. It's a text file on my Mantis.
Okay.
And it's all my video scripts are in one file, and it is at the top of the file. So I open the file, it's like checklist. It's like, oh, okay. So I do that first, and then I jump down to whichever lesson it is, and then I start recording.
Can you transfer files from the Mac to the Mantis directly, or do you have to put them on an SD card?
You have to put them on an SD card or a USB stick.
Okay.
Apparently you can transfer direct from Windows to the Mantis using a cable. Or actually you can, if you really want to. If you're in terminal mode on the Mac, you can copy up to 360 characters and paste them into whatever app you're using. You can copy from the Mantis and paste into your app you're using on terminal mode using a pass-through key command.
Huh.
Which I can't remember.
I've never put my hands on a Mantis. I need to, because it sounds like an intriguing device.
It has a full-sized QWERTY keyboard without numeric keypad. And the thing I like about it is, instead of being like very square, like the Mac keys, the Magic Keyboard keys are very square and very, they don't come up above the surface at all, really, only by, a few millimeters. The Mantis keys stick up more and the corners are slightly rounded. So they feel more like an old-fashioned typewriter. The keyboard's still flat, but the keys feel more like typewriter keys, and they have more travel than the Mac keys. I'm just getting to sound like Steven Scott. But they're not clicky. So, yeah, I love typing on the Mantis. It's good. And then, of course, you've got the 40-cell braille display underneath.
Right. I don't know, that numpad. It is nice to control my Mac with one hand. I do like that. But Demasi has recommended a couple of Bluetooth numpads in the past.
Yeah, Bluetooth numpad solves that problem. If you are a heavy, because that works also with a laptop for travel, which means you're not traveling with a whole big, huge keyboard that you can't fold up. Because most keyboards with number pads don't fold up, or if they do, they're very compressed, which can lead to other problems, like your keys are just super close together. There's no spacing. So a Bluetooth number pad is useful if you're a very heavy user of numpad commander on macOS. Regardless,
that'd be good for Reaper, I think. The numpad.
Yeah, I have thought about that, and actually need to pull mine out and try to do some more configuration with the number pad to do some Reaper commands, because that would be nice to just have one hand over here doing this and the other hand doing that. I would feel like a professional at that point, like I'm using both hands.
The most amazing thing was when I did voiceover training. Did a little bit of 2 days of voiceover training, which was a lot of fun. I'm beginning to realize that a recording studio is my new happy place. I love that. And radio stations, it's almost like being hugged. It kind of feels all soft and squishy and lovely, and there's no sound, and it's great. Love it. But to record a radio commercial for something, and you would record it, and then you'd end up doing 4 or 5 takes, and then the producer would say, "Okay, I want the intro from take 1, the middle from take 3, and the outro from take 5." And you'd walk in, and you'd hear them scrubbing. It's really hard, really fast, and it was really sort of high pitched, scrubbing through the thing. And from the time it took me to walk across the hallway from the recording studio into where the engineer was and sit down, he was playing me my recorded, stitched together radio ad back. It was amazing. It's so mad it'd be good to do it that fast.
It would be.
So
here's and Michael definitely has some tricks for doing that. If you're playing back, if you're playing stuff through, doing it at a faster rate, always remember to reset your rate back to 0 before you render.
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Or scrubbing. Like I will scrub through something like with the speed, like stupid fast, because I know I'm kind of familiar with the content. It's just I'm looking for certain things, right? Unfortunately, one thing that a sighted person editing will always have an advantage of in a lot of cases that we don't have is they can look at the waveform and spot things.
Yes.
Yep.
And I wasn't aware of this when I first started editing audio, that this was a thing. But listening to some people who are audio engineers and talking with them about this stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just I'll make this noise, or we'll clap or do whatever, because I can instantly see that on the waveform, and then I know where I need to cut something." It's like, oh man, that's such a cheat. You cheater, I tell you, cheat.
You could probably do that on the Monarch.
I was just thinking a multi-line braille display or something.
Interesting.
Or a dot pad, maybe.
I got this dot pad over here. I'm gonna have to play around with that. That could be a thing for sure. What I have started doing in a lot of cases, I don't do it all the time because I don't do all of the editing, but what I had started practicing doing before I handed all the editing duties to Michael.
How did that happen? I don't even remember.
Yeah, man, I wasn't gonna be around to edit. Didn't have time for that. I was learning how to put stuff in snack machines, dude. I didn't have time to be trying to edit some audio, dude. What are you talking about? But one thing that I had started trying to do, and it kept me on this mission of figuring out a way to get the best quality audio from remote people and record it directly into Reaper. Which is what I'm doing right now. So I've already dropped a couple of markers in here as we've been recording, because I'm probably just going to edit off of the Reaper audio. I will have the clean feed audio recording multi-track as a backup in case I didn't do something right over here or something. But for the most part, I'm just going to record off of Reaper so I can drop markers as I'm going, which means I can jump to where we actually started the show versus, our kind of little pre-show conversation before you got in here, Amanda.
That was scary. I didn't know when you started. When you said, "Oh yes," so it was, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, when did they start?"
Welcome to Technically Working.
Don't you listen to the show? You just start. The way the show starts for you in your headphones is how the show usually starts.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times we'll have some
that's good. I didn't
conversation.
say anything bad.
No, we cut that stuff out. I had to do the same thing for Steven. I can't remember what he said. He said something terrible. It was completely awful. I can't even believe he said it. I almost didn't even want him on the show after. No, I'm kidding. So I'm exaggerating a little bit. But he did say something. I don't even remember what it was. It's like, "Oh, we can't have that in the recording." It's like, don't worry about it, man. We do it all the time. Mike has to cut out some of my stuff sometimes too, because I rant occasionally. Just on a rare occasion.
And then sometimes I forget to cut things out.
Happens every 50 or so episodes, that I rant about a thing and then he has to cut that out. As we wrap up, I want you to kind of give people a, give us the pitch for the book. For sure. We'll wrap up with that. We want to get a pitch for the book so people know why they're buying it. What does the book cover? And then you're doing a special thing that you got going on through the end of the year. So I want to make sure we get that in as well.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Because I completely forgotten about that. The book is basically, it's called Seeing by Vision, Not by Sight. And the tagline is how to discover your life's purpose and put it into action. And so I wrote the book because I had been in a position where I was in a job that I hated. I was too scared to get out of it. And because I didn't know what else I was going to do. And then I was made redundant, which in US speak is being laid off. So I was suddenly laid off and it's like, oh, okay, now I've left this job that I don't like. And now what do I do? And I'd always had this question in the back of my mind since I was in my mid-20s, why am I here? And I've been put on this earth for a reason. And, I'm a Christian, so my faith comes into it a lot. And so I knew that I'd been put on this earth for a reason, but I didn't know what that was. And my job obviously wasn't it, even though I enjoyed what I was doing. And so I went on a journey after I had been laid off and went on a journey of 4 years. And I discovered that my life's purpose is to inspire and encourage others. And so I thought, well, if I'm wondering what my life's purpose is, maybe other people are too. And so I wrote the book. And so you don't have to leave your job to discover your life's purpose. You could, like if your life's purpose is to care for animals, you might still do your day job and then go and volunteer at an animal shelter on the weekends. And why would you discover your life's purpose? Well, it's what makes you happy. It's what lights you up. It's what gets you going. It's what keeps you going when times are tough. It's what gets you up in the morning because it's like, oh, yes, this is my thing. This is what I'm meant to do. So, yeah, that's what the book is about. And it's got a bit of my story woven through as an example, stories of 5 clients that I've coached through the process. And it's also it's an interactive book. It's got exercises in it. And so it takes you through the process of discovering your life's purpose and putting it into action. And the thing that I'm doing before the end of the year, I'm doing an experiment. I want to see how many people I can help before the end of the year, before the end of 2025, to make their dreams come true for just $25 Australian. So that's even less than 25 US. That's way less. So, or way less than 25 pounds. So 25. How many people can I help before the end of 2025 for $25?
Okay. And how can people reach out to you?
Probably the best way is on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn as Amanda J, initial J, Heal, Heal. And yes, that is my real name. And so I'm on LinkedIn as Amanda J Heal. That is also my email address, amanda@amandaheal.com.au. And Amanda Heal is all one word.
I have ideas for you, Amanda. We need to talk. I have ideas.
Awesome. Maybe when you get back from your cruise?
Maybe I'll send you a message here in a couple of minutes.
Yes. Always always happy about ideas. Yes. I also am developing, as I said before, the Purpose, Vision, Future course. So if you want to get through this, if you want to discover your life's purpose and put it into action in 12 weeks or 90 days, I am also building my self-paced online video course, which also has one-on-one coaching component as well.
Awesome. So stay tuned because we will bring Amanda back too to share more.
Thank you. It's been so much fun to geek out with you guys.
Thank you for
Demasi.
Thank you for coming on, Amanda. Amanda is one of I have known Amanda right around about 10 years now. Mike is the person who introduced us, so it's been great having you on the show.
Thank
as
you.
Mike said,
Great to be here.
We will bring you back in the future to discuss more. For everybody listening, you can find Amanda on LinkedIn. She's Amanda J. Hill. And I just think it's amazing that her last name is lines up exactly with what she feels her purpose in life is. So that is some amazing marketing that you cannot even create. It just happened. Michael, you can get to him. He's on Mastodon, Payon, Payown, at dragonscave.space. I'm on Mastodon as Damasi, Damashe, at technically.social. Absolutely go out and follow our bot, because the bot's going to give you more information than me. I promise you it will. TW at technically.social. You can also use the hashtag technically working if you just want to incorporate us into a conversation. We appreciate if you capitalize the T and the W. Email feedback at technicallyworking.show if you have questions, comments, thoughts, if you think maybe you have a guest that we might want to bring on, or
if you know where Garth lives.
Well, I mean, listen, I could just reach out to Garth. It's not all that difficult. Don't email if you know where Garth lives, because that's creepy. All right, just cut it out. Unless your name is Sean, then you can email us and tell us where Garth lives, because that'll be interesting if he actually knows. I just want to thank everybody for listening. This has been episode 137 of Technically Working.